Hi guys, it's Capri from BirdTricks. In today's video, you're going to see a white cockatoo, which you all know my mom's afraid of, so you guys are going to love it.
Say it, buddy.
Hey guys, meet Rocket, the lesser sulphur crested cockatoo. He's about 2 years old, DNA sexed male, and he's a little nervous about this spot. So obviously you can see he's fully flighted. He has done a lot of flight and recall training with Cindy, which we absolutely love to see. So even in a brand new environment where he's a little bit nervous, he knows to come back to her, which is fantastic. Now Cindy is a longtime patron, a longtime follower of the BirdTricks community, which is awesome. So a lot of the foundational things are already in place, and all she's really looking for in this masterclass is for us to watch how she works with, trains, and interacts with Rocket. As you can see, he knows a lot of tricks, and just kind of help her work through when he might be getting frustrated or when things might not be going super well. He knows tricks such as the spin that you saw, the eagle, which you just saw. He's obviously recall trained. And he does a lot of prop tricks as well. And there's some frustration that comes along with doing a lot of prop trick behaviors, because when the birds get it wrong, they just become frustrated, which can lead to being aggressive with the actual props in and of themselves. Now, unfortunately, I lost audio on one of my cameras, but the other one sufficed. So bear with me as I walk you guys through how we were able to help her, how we were able to see how long until frustration builds, how they work through Rocket not necessarily getting the correct behavior. As you can see right here, he put the red one on the yellow peg, and it's supposed to be on the red peg. So he's learning his colors, he's learning how to correct mistakes, and there's a certain limit with all birds that's going to be different. I will say generally with cockatoos, you ride a much thinner line than with other species of birds of learning tricks. They will get frustrated and just kind of quit on you, whereas other species, you tend to be able to work through it a little bit more. Cockatoos will actually avoid training or associate training very negatively, where they won't ever want to do it again. So you have to be really mindful about how you train a cockatoo and always keep it fun for them, because again, they're very easily reinforced by outside things that are outside of our control a lot of the time, and it can make it hard to find a reinforcement that's stronger than that. So I hope you guys gain a lot of insight from this video with Rocket. I know I enjoyed the heck out of this bird, and I know that's coming as probably a surprise to a lot of you since he is a white cockatoo, but I have a bigger fear of umbrella cockatoos than I do the sulphurs. So let's get on to more of this video with Rocket.
Want to do this one? You know this one. So, which one? Good boy. You gotta bring it here, you dingo. You gonna bring it to me? He's not gonna do the whole trick. All right. Well, normally he has to also bring me the nut.
Okay.
But he's being kind of weirdo today. So then I typically will move it around and ask him to do it again.
So the whole routine is pick the right cup, bring it to you, like flip it over, bring it to you.
Now see, he did it wrong, and he's looking to me like, where's my treat? And he's not getting one. But now at home, he would have taken that cup and flipped it 3 more times and thrown it off the table.
So there's part of what your answer is: go train somewhere else. Whatever they're offering us, the best, we'll train. It'll start there. Mm-hmm. So if it's going crazy in your house, mm-hmm. definitely try a different room. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, have you always started with 3 cups?
The instructions said start with 3 cups, but always start with it on one end. You keep them going to that end, and you've got the great big dot. And then you get them go doing that consistently, and then you start to move them. So that's what I read from the instructions.
Yeah, so I would, like when we taught this with playing cards, we mm-hmm. started with 1 playing card with a dot, and they just had to flip it over. Mm-hmm. And then we added 2 playing cards, and it was always the same side. And so we'd repetition, 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 and we switched it. And he'd mm-hmm. screw it up. We'd have to okay, well, think about it. Okay, let's try it again. And it still screws up. We might point to it. Mm-hmm. And then he flips it over. Cool. Click reward. And then keep that one in the same spot for a while. And then mm-hmm. you might switch it back at one point. And then when he's getting that really well, then you add a third card. And but you want to like keep it. Is your foot okay?
What's his?
Oh, he was just holding it with anticipation. Something you could do, like in this case, is he's going to be less confident coming to me at this end. So that's going to ensure that he's going to get the right cup.
Which one? Good boy.
Yay!
Bring me the cup instead. You're changing the trick. All right, I will give you your treat though. Here, I know you did it. I'm getting
Bondo.
teeny tiny pieces. Which one? Which one?
Hi, I was here before too.
He's looking at me. He's just like,
He's like, when did you get here?
Which one?
Want to back up?
Can you not watch, please?
Huh?
Can you please close your eyes? I'm nervous.
Right, I'm not watching.
Good boy. You're a good boy. I know you're a little freaked. Here, which one? No, I'm going
This
over
one.
there.
Are you thinking like a retraining in the right way? Because if he already has the foundation, then she could start with 1 cup.
Yes,
And add a second
exactly.
cup.
Yeah,
and
so
add
I
a
would
third cup.
I would do 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup, and then
And then add the
add the
second
second
cup.
one,
Yeah.
and
That
then
doesn't
keep,
have the dot, and have
Yes.
you keep getting the one with
So
the
Yeah,
that he can
but-
really understand the difference between the 2 cups.
but keep it predictable. Like keep it on the same side over and over and over and over and over,
Yeah.
and then let him see you switch it, and then ask for the behavior, and then don't reward. And sometimes you might need to switch one of the cup with the dot back, reward that, because you have to play that threshold that we were talking about of like he'll
Right.
get frustrated. But also, and I know that the environment is playing a huge part in today, but have you noticed like the treats you're giving, are those for sure his 100% favorite, or
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I did bring another one he likes in case that might. You want some?
I think I mentioned this last time we were here, but we need to bring a travel kit of all the different treats for
I just
these.
keep them in my pockets, apparently, because I just found sunflower seeds and sunflower seeds
You like that one better?
from sometime.
Normally, this is his primo treat. This is a mix of pecans and walnuts,
Okay.
and he just gets whichever one comes out in my hand.
I love it.
Um,
I love all the. I know, this is just. You guys make our jobs so much more fun when you already have the foundation.
Yeah. A
Which one?
community of listeners.
which one? Which one?
He's like, there is
There's
only
only-
one.
I don't know what you want me to do. I just don't know what you want me to
Cockatoo
do.
thought bubbles.
Cockatoo thought bubbles, like I said.
Thought bubbles. You guys just filling in stuff. Oh my gosh, my shoulder's like stuck.
Says I'm just kind of shut down today. All right, well, we'll give you that for that and see if that gets you.
So one observation that I just noticed is you were asking for something, and you weren't getting it. So you asked for a step up and you clicked. What that could do is teach him that like, hey, I don't have to do that because you're eventually going to ask me to do something else, and I'll get a click. In the face. I like to think of the click as being reserved for the perfect rep. So in the beginning, it's like, oh, that was closer to what we wanted. And then once they get it, I try to reserve it for like, I didn't click, you still did the trick, but it wasn't perfect. It was too slow or it wasn't the right one. So in that case, when he stepped up, I might have still given a treat, but I definitely wouldn't have clicked. What it could have done is said, hey, we're learning a new trick, and the new trick is you ignore this for 3 reps, and then you step up and you get a treat. So that if that pattern continues, then it's a problem.
Okay.
He's an impressive cockatoo, though.
I do tend to, if he's really struggling with something, I fall back to something he's confident in. I don't necessarily always. I even forget to click sometimes when I should. So, but yeah, that's good. I'll think about when I click on that.
Yeah, and that's really good that you notice. Okay, so when he's struggling, you go back to something easy, but be very careful because that's a dangerous pattern to establish. Because like you notice when we were working with Caitlin's bird, he was doing a great job, and I was like, hey, throw a wave in, and it was before he was struggling. The way I looked at it is like, do algebra. Okay, what's 2 + 2? all right, algebra, and so that like builds the confidence in the middle, as opposed to like, I can't do algebra, that's fine, let's just do addition. Be careful of that pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we're teaching when we're teaching tricks that they're struggling with, which isn't necessarily a really complex trick, but if we're teaching something that they're like, I'm not quite getting this, throw an easy one in like every 4th rep or something, so that it's on your terms.
Yeah. Well, and how many reps do you do? Because I tend to keep the reps of one trick like 3 or 4 at the most, and then I do something different anyway.
Yeah, so I think it depends species to species. You know, with the Conures case,
1 million.
it looks like he swallowed a golf ball over there now. But you know, in a masterclass setting, we push harder than we ever would at home,
right,
for the most part. With free flight or indoor flight, I limit it to 5 perfect repetitions of whatever the skill is, and so they do 2 sessions a day. They get 10 perfect repetitions, and this isn't like, you know, stamp, seal, delivered like every single person, but for the most part, that's where I'm going, because those repetitions, you're paying so much attention if you know you're only getting 5 reps, that they have to be perfect. You pay attention to the all of the why, the what, the how, the what if, and you set up the situation to be flawless from the beginning. Whereas normally in trick training, we say 3 to 5 minutes. If you're finding, especially, you know, if you find he's got a short attention span, you just do like 4 or 5 perfect reps. That might be all that he wants to do anyway.
Yeah.
So
hopefully yeah, I don't think so. Well, he actually demands to train at home.
Yeah.
He will fly to the chair that I sit in, and hello, I'm here. I'm ready to train.
That's cool.
So yeah, he loves to train. I would say when he was younger, he just wanted to keep going. It was really hard to get him to stop. But now I would probably say 5 minutes would be an average.
yeah, it's hard when the species is self-reinforced by a behavior. It could be biting. It could be the sound of items falling off the top of the fridge during a free flight class. It could be flinging the cup to the floor. You know, there's some things that are just intrinsically self-motivating,
Right.
Or self-reinforcing, and that's hard to beat. So I would think of
you're
like
hungry.
paying attention to, is it the act of throwing it that's more exciting? If so, use a heavier cup. Is it the sound it makes when it hits the table? Then put a blanket down. You don't strike me as somebody who's emotionally agitated most of your life.
No, they're so fun.
I can get really intense and irritated, but
She whispers.
it does take quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I do actually. Not with animals. They're animals. They don't speak our language. We don't speak theirs. You know, you
Yeah.
can't blame them for not understanding English.
You're not paying attention.
I got one. Okay.
Move it to
Can we wait?
Huh?
Move
Wait.
it to the other corner.
There you go. All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Get off the window.
He's definitely. There you go.
So I would say about 1 out of every 10 birds we encounter, which is significantly higher than I ever expected a decade ago. I'd say probably 1 out of 10 birds does better after a meal. It's
Or
not-
after like a half meal.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a full one, but like COMET, he does so much better after I fed him a bit, but TUSA, I wouldn't get anything if I
Yeah.
did that with him, so.
Yeah. And at home at 5, he's ready to train. I mean,
Yeah.
he's asking for it.
If I feed Jamie first, I can't get anything out of her.
Yeah. Can you spin?
Don't feed me.
The failures are probably more important than constant successes. That's like, I feel like it's an understood principle in the training. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, when he does one wrong and he literally comes and stands right in front of me like, you're supposed to treat me now, and I don't give him one. I mean, he really does think about that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and you can see their gears shift a little bit.
yeah.
So the other rule of thumb is, if you are starting to experience failure, you pushed too far too fast. Go back to what was last working well and slowly rebuild it from there. And so this applies for indoor flight, outdoor flight, card tricks, cup tricks, you know, retrieves, any of that, even like flipping upside down. Like if we held that too long, and then you click and treat, you probably aren't even going to get near as close the next time, and we'll have to, in essence, start over. And so, you know, Jamie mentioned like, oh, maybe you should just retrain it. And as much as like that sounds horrible, the retraining process takes 1/10 of the time because you've already done the work. You're just like going through and cleaning it up again.
Yeah,
and
it'll
refreshing.
be quick.
Yeah, so the retraining phrase, like go through the steps, but just it's not going to take the same amount of time.
Yeah. Also, like, it kind of rebuilds his confidence too, because it's just like starting easy, 2 + 2. Like, sign me up for that math. You know, I feel better about myself. So I think that would really help build his confidence, make the training fun again, and set a new tone for you guys to be like, hey, let's rework this. I would have to do that with a mailbox if I had to, like, if I got Bondi to a point where she just refused. I would have to be like, all right, how do I make this fun again? How do I isolate it to just one behavior and simplify?
We see it with like flying on the corner. She kind of mentioned some flight stuff. And if we do flying on the corner and I go too far, too fast, and the bird doesn't make it to the right spot, they like relapse and I have to rebuild the confidence. And so with flight skills, and I would say it's the same for any trick, is you want to build the confidence first and the skills will follow. If you're focused so much on the skills, like exceedingly going around the corner and you're like going too far too fast because you're working on that skill, that's where you make a mistake and the confidence drops and your timeline starts over and you have to rebuild it.
I would love to do free flight, but again, I can't hike, I can't run. There's so many things I can't do, so that's a whole nother conversation. But I do a lot of indoor flight with him because it keeps him very healthy. So I have, like, from my family room to my living room is longer than this, and he'll fly that back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Then he'll go around the corner and go into my office because there's usually a tree in there, and stuff like that. He's not quite good at making 4 corners to get into his bedroom yet. He kind of lands and walks in. But,
Such a cocky thing to do.
With his crest up.
Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean, I haven't played, I heard somebody say you play hide and seek with them. You get them to
Gosh,
find
I've got to dig
haven't
up this
started that
footage
yet.
from the cruise ship days. It was unbelievable. Jamie would hide like anywhere in the chairs, and then I would take Bandit out, and you'd hear like whoop whoop, and he's like, huh? And he'd like go search all the chairs and then find her like under one.
Yeah.
And then we did this outside on cliffs, and he would literally go through all the trees, and then he went straight up the cliff and found her at the top. Do you feel like you've got some direction and?
Yeah, definitely different on how I handle the failures and let him have a little more time to think about it, and stuff like that. And then also watch when I'm cueing the easier behavior, do it before he's too frustrated or whatever, so that we reset before he's really getting frustrated.
Cool.
He does enjoy training, so usually.
Aww.
No, I looked like he enjoyed it here. He's just, you know, and actually, it was impressive to see him in this environment, knowing how uncertain he was, that he still was like, heck yeah. You know, training is that mental misdirection where rather than focusing on, you know, let's go back to the bird outdoors, right? Instead of being fearful of being stuck 80 feet in a tree, they're like, hey, that target stick? I know that trick. Let me go down. You know, and it kind of redirects their mind. And I think trick training indoors does the same thing by just like saying, okay, I don't know my environment, but I know that you can give me food, water, and shelter, and I'm going to look for that, and I'm going to, how do I earn it? You know, and it was neat to see Rocket kind of work through that, and he's great. He doesn't look super confident, but he doesn't look distraught either.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a really good job with him.
Yeah, I agree.
Damn, take it!